This episode of XIV Reborn is brought to you by Audible. For a free 30-day trial as well as a free audiobook, head on over to audible.com/gamebreaker.
Gamebreaker TV.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 20 of XIV Reborn, the Final Fantasy XIV show for December 10th, 2013. You're watching Game Breaker TV. My name is Mike Shaft, and I am filling in for Gary Gannon, who could not make it today. Try not to hate me too much. I promise I love Final Fantasy II. Yoshi P gets all chatty in an interview coming up. Patch 2.1 gets its own damn website, as well as the feature that shall not be named maybe gets a little bit better. All that and more, but for us joining us again from XIV chat, you guys know him as Mr. Happy, also known as Michael Overmuro.
Yeah, you almost got my last name.
I almost got it. I was close.
Almost. Pretty close. How you doing, Mike?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing all right. 7 days.
Yeah.
7 days.
It's like The Ring all over again. Are we gonna die?
Yeah,
in
I
7
know.
days?
The original one.
And also from multiple Game Breaker websites, you guys know him as Mike Byrne, also known as Magic Man, doing a little cactuar dance.
What's up, brother, man? I knew you would appreciate these little guys. Aren't they awesome? Look at them.
I gotta say, I'd be impressed if you had one, but you have two.
I do, right?
Matching.
Check it out. These were made by a VGN or a VG. See, that's what happens.
They were made by the VGA?
Yeah, Joel McHale made these.
Joel McHale stitched them on the VGXs.
Now I'm scared.
No, these are made by a GBN officer's significant other, his wife.
Wow.
Fantastic job. I don't want to give the name because I don't want people like hitting them up for them, but awesome stuff. And thank you for all the other extras you sent me too. Love them.
That is
very crafty.
Impressive.
I know, right?
Talented
a little
people
Carby in there too.
Jeez.
Fantastic.
I'm just letting you guys know I cannot see our actual what everybody else is seeing.
Right.
I only see XIV Reborn. I'm just letting you guys know that now. So if it looks like I'm not looking at the camera or paying attention,
it's because you're not looking at the camera or paying attention. Don't use excuses.
The best point of this, I can catch you when you're least expecting it, and you'll never know.
I have whatever the delay is on Twitch is what I'm working with.
I'll get that fixed here once we get into the show. But as you guys said, we're only a week away from a Realm Awoken, kind of launching, and Yoshi P is just dropping info left and right here. So hopefully we'll be giving our first impressions of 2.1 next week, because I'm sure you guys are just pumped and ready to go, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
This needed to come a month ago, so looking forward to it.
Now Yoshi P kind of keeps sounding more and more sure of that date with each and every post that comes out. So it's kind of it's.
Thank goodness.
I don't want to come out and say confirmed and then be wrong, because I'll get so much hate for appearing out of nowhere and then saying, oh, it's confirmed, and then it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the live letter when he said it, even if you didn't speak Japanese, you were like, he's not that sure about that date, because he was just hemming and hawing a little bit, saying, we're going to try not to delay. Then the official translation came out, and it was just flat out one sentence, and it was, this will release on December 17th. That was it. Then this interview, it's even more like set in stone, and it's all over the website now in print, so yes! I could not be more happy to be wrong about this date prediction. Believe me, I'm happy to be wrong on this one.
Now, Yoshi P also kind of took out some of his time to chat with Famitsu, which, if you guys don't know, is a Japanese gaming site. And he talked about patch 2.1, so looking at some of the general points that he talked about here, XIV is coming to Steam, which I don't think there's really any surprise. It just kind of makes sense. PC platform, it's one of the largest PC delivery systems out there. Steam, right move. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
I know people who won't play anything if it's not on Steam. It's like, what? As soon as they hear Origin, immediately out the window. But if it's on Steam, it's worth a shot.
And 7 and 8 just, 7 a little while ago, and then 8 just recently popped up there, and so it makes sense for this to go. But Chef, a lot of people don't know, you are a Final Fantasy connoisseur, sir. So I would like to know, which Final Fantasy are you eager to see on Steam, or is yours already on there? We got 7, 8, and soon to be 14. That's it right now.
Say sex.
I got a 6. 6 would.
Are you whispering to Shafnet to say sex?
Say
yes.
Sex.
Yeah. It's Final Fantasy 30.
I gotta say, Gary and I were playing Final Fantasy VII for the YouTube gameplay channel that we were trying to start, and I really liked the update to it. I could definitely see the visual upgrade that came to the PC version. So I'm happy that that's there. 6 would be wonderful. 6 is one of the few that I've yet to play through to the end. I still have it originally on PlayStation, because I looked forever.
What is it called? Anthology?
Anthology. I don't know if it's on Anthology or if it's on Chronicles, but I have both of those, and I searched for those 2 discs for like 2 years before Amazon was a thing and you could just buy it online. I remember I was going into game shops left and right looking for those discs. So I'm excited by that, but I've also become the smart adopter of the PC master race where there are emulators out there. So I already have all of my old PlayStation and PlayStation 2 games. All of the old Final Fantasies can already be emulated on my computer, so them coming to Steam doesn't mean as much to me.
And you have them all, so it's all fair. Yeah,
exactly. I have them all, and I do the same thing. I throw the black disc in the PC and emulate it and have some fun that way. Yeah, you're right, chat. I did forget Final Fantasy XI, obviously. It's just I never played it on Steam. That's why I kind of forgot that one. But that's not Shafnet's favorite. Come on. I'm going with you, Shaf. I'm going to go 6 or 4 as my second option. Sadly, neither one will probably ever see the light of day on Steam.
No, if it's not a handheld system, you won't see.
Yeah,
one of the classic Final Fantasies on it, pretty much.
It works so well on classic, though. I'm excited. I'm crossing my fingers, knocking on wood to get a 3DS this Christmas. And if I get a 3DS, I'm gonna lose so much money to picking up old titles like that because they're just so perfect for on the go.
I wouldn't mind seeing 9 on there. Then we could see Vivi's real pants instead of Mr. Happy's sheets.
Here we go.
Final Fantasy. What's up with that?
This is the sequel to Final Fantasy IX. These are Vivi's new pants.
VV 9-2.
Yes, there you go. And then we'll make a third one where he returns.
Right. Sweet, we'll get a Fate. That's awesome. That's cool. I want a VV Fate.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so back on the topic here of XIV here. There won't be a harder raid until after an expansion. Now we kind of already understood this one though, right? This isn't breaking news that he broke to Famitsu.
No, pretty much. All it does is crush anything that's not a binding coil. Like, oh, I can't wait till they do this crazy new raid that's not binding coil or Crystal Tower. Yeah, I'll see you in 3.0.
3.0, baby. Yeah, every patch up until then is just going to add to existing raids. So there will be harder content, obviously, but it's nothing new as far as new locales. It's still going to be Coil and Crystal Tower.
Next up, he actually said that FanFest is currently planned for next year. So obviously the obligatory sentence. You guys packing already? Pack your cactuars. Going to FanFest.
They're gonna take a couple banners. I don't even know where the damn thing is, but the bags are already packed for this. Poor guys in the EU though, they got shanked, didn't they? Oh, there was original talk of like an England and a Germany and multiple locations, and now they're only gonna do one somewhere in the EU. If I had to guess, I'd probably say it's gonna be in England, and then they'll hit Germany during Gamescom. So I wouldn't expect them to totally abandon the rest of the EU, but as far as FanFest, I'm kind of leaning towards England, but that's just a guess.
Next up, he talked about how Square Enix is also planning live events before 2.2 and 2.3, where we actually have hard mode primal challenges too.
Yeah. They don't want to give out as many shirts as they did last time, so they're not messing around with these challenges anymore. They're like, listen, we don't want to need to come out with extra stuff. We don't want to have to make earrings on the fly because we made the challenges too easy. We actually,
so we're gonna give them away to random servers. Yoshi P, the all of them won. All the servers they've won already. We just opened, yes, but they're done. We need to do something else.
You know what they should do? They should put computers all over the live events, all over the place, and then you have to duty roulette with anybody else who's at the event, and you just have to cross your fingers and hope you get a good party. We learned something pretty interesting about those challenges, though.
Yeah,
there was a slight announcement there that wasn't really an announcement. Last week, I think it was, we spoke about how Ultima, they were kind of debating whether or not to call him hard mode difficulty or extreme. Well, he dropped the ball on the 2.3 event and said, we'd like to have Ultima Extreme for 2.3 and Ultima Hard Mode for 2.2 for the prior to the live events, that is. So
right.
I'm gonna say the dreaded word of confirmed.
Also, though, we did get a pretty nice surprise about the primals, right? I didn't expect this. I mean, I expected the extreme mode primals to follow the order of the hard mode primals, and I think everybody was kind of on that train, with Titan extreme mode being the hardest of the three. Not so. If you check out the website, they just posted recently a little snippet on the quests that you need to get these extreme modes opened up, and Ifrit is the big mother, not Titan when it comes to the extreme mode. Although Titan does have the best quest name. To open that up, it's Quake Me Up Before You Go Moro.
Oh,
so,
God.
Come on, that's great. That's great.
It is. It's really good because the song was playing in my head when I read the quest name. So I can't disagree. Although I'm going to say they may have made Ifrit out to be the big baddie. I still think Titan's going to give people the most trouble. Titan's the only one that has a mechanic that's unrecoverable, which is pretty much why he's been running rampant for so long, even on hard mode. So even though he's not...
Well, he's the only one with an unrecoverable mechanic on hard mode. We don't know about extreme mode yet. And, I mean, there's quite a big... It's a 3-item level gap between these two. Titan requires 67, Ifrit requires 70, and you have to beat Garuda and Titan to even open Ifrit up. So, I don't know. I would love to see Ifrit be the big baddie. And his quest quest name is also good. It's Ifrit ain't broke.
Don't fix it.
Oh, shit, that's great, son.
That seems completely unimpressed by these names. It's one of these.
That's all it is. That's all you can do. It's just like, really? Quake me
Come
up
on, those are
before
great.
you go?
It's alright, Garuda's doesn't make you facepalm.
What's Garuda's?
Like Gale Force something? Something that's not a play on a real big song, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, when you read the other two and you go back to Garuda, it's like, oh, it's called Garuda Extreme.
Gale Force Warning.
Nice. Yeah, Gale Force Warning. It's like, oh, it's called Garuda Extreme Fight. Awesome. But the other two are great. Fantastic job. I'm loving some of the pop culture stuff in here, like the Sharknado fate.
Sharknado.
All that stuff. I'm loving some of the pop culture stuff hidden throughout Eorzea.
Now, obviously, we can't review every point from that interview. So, obviously, if you guys have not checked out or read up on that interview, head on over to xivnation.com because there is a lot of buzz being caused from it. But the biggest buzz is the Crystal Tower loot lockouts. Now, you guys actually said that you were hoping for kind of a 2 or maybe 3-day lockout, and that actually wasn't the case, was it?
No, not at all, sir.
And what are we looking at?
1 item per week.
1 item per week. Now, 1 item per week or 1 item per boss per week? Because that's a little ambiguous. There's a huge difference there. Because there's what? There's 4 bosses that are going to be available?
4 bosses.
So is it 1 item per week or 4 items per week per boss? Like,
we're obviously at the mercy of translation here, right? I mean, this is a Japanese interview. Yoshi P did it in his native language, so we're obviously got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. But even when you slap Google Translate on this thing, it's pretty clear that the intent of the sentence is 1 item per week. I would love it to be 1 item per boss per week, but that doesn't look like what it's going to be.
So
which
how does
kinda
that
stinks.
how does that work if it's a raid? Like, what if your group
I knew
was
this was
like,
coming.
I need to kill this boss for the item I want, and they're like, what's up? We're killing this one.
And that's kind of the intent with this system. Is it's a sequential raid, so you have to go through all three or all four bosses. It's not a pick and choose type thing like an Ice Crown Citadel, where eventually you will kill everybody, but you can pick the path you want, right? And chat is saying, my guess is all the treasure will drop on the last boss. That's not true. That also got kind of explained in this interview, where each boss will drop treasure. Each party, all three parties, will get their own treasure chest, so you'll only be rolling against the 7 other people in your party on the piece of loot for each boss. Now, the intent is, from what Yoshi P has said, and from, again, the translation says, is that they really want you to be sure that that is the piece of gear you absolutely want when you roll on something. So it's kind of you being used as an incentive to make sure you go after the right stuff. But I can see this turning into kind of a problem very quickly. And I'm not even sure why they did this. I mean, from an MMO perspective, Shaftnet, you play a ton. You've seen this type of thing all over the place. It's a way to gate content and slow you down from progression and make the content last, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We're all familiar with that. But this is content that's being pushed in between the current hardest raid and the level 50 dungeons. It's not a new dungeon that's harder than the stuff we have. It's being pushed in between. So technically, players don't even have to touch it to continue to progress in Coil. So I'm not sure why the drawing out of the gear gathering. I can understand maybe 1 per boss per week, because you still draw it out a little bit, but this just seems excessive for content that's sandwiched in between existing content, not the new hardest thing in the game that you want to draw out.
Sure, and it just seems, to me, it seems a little crazy, because how do you, obviously, yes, I get it, I get kind of what you're saying, of like, they want to make sure that you're making the investment, that when you're choosing to roll, you're choosing for something that you want, but how do you know what's going to come down the road on a later kill? What if you're waiting for something later and then it doesn't end up coming?
God help you if you don't check XIV DB and know what every boss drops on day one. I think it came down to even if we were going to be able to get more than one drop per week, I have a feeling it would have come down to we either got this or we got an actual 1 week lockout and a chance at no loot. So I had a feeling that, in all honesty, we got the best of the two choices, but it doesn't make this choice that much better, I guess I could say. And chat's very aware of this, boss 1C is, oh, loot, see ya.
Yep.
So all you people trying to do Crystal Tower, if you don't need stuff off the first boss, I beg of you, please click join party in progress. Please do. Just be kind to everybody else.
All right, so also we knew the experience was going to be increased in dungeons, but now we finally have some specifics on it. So check this out. Dungeons are getting 150%, not 150, 150%
I hope more than
experience. Yeah, I know, right? Percent.
Enjoy your 150 extra XP. Godspeed. Have a great day. You only need 520,417 more to level. Good job.
It'll stack up eventually if you run it enough, Mike Burns.
Oh yeah.
150% is huge.
1 times 10 million is still 10 million. So, all right. So 150% experience boost.
Mass.
When you add in the bonuses from the duty roulette here, Yoshi P says that they will actually be also. It comes to a culmination of 300% experience. I almost said it again. 300%.
That's twice as much as you just said before.
300. Now do 2 times 15 million. Now what's it? 30 million.
30 million.
A 300% increase. That is massive. Massive. Now, obviously, you can only do each of the 4 sections of the duty roulette once a day. So your first run in each of the 4 sections will be 300% over experience over what is currently in there. But then even after that, if you want to keep going, 150% over what's there now. Nothing to sneeze at if you're sick of running fates.
Nothing to sneeze at. What about, okay, so with this situation here now happening, does this create a scenario and situation where dungeons have now become a viable leveling process?
Oh yeah, I think so. And that's significant enough to the. I mean, I have a feeling people are so sick of Fates they'll be empty the day that 2.1 drops. People are just like, no, I don't care. No, it's still fast. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm gonna go do Cutter's Cry. I'm gonna do the Studio Roulette Party. We might wipe, but it's not a fake. I don't care anymore. Please. Now just get Guild Hests worth repeating, and we're all good to go.
So what happens?
Well, that's one of the duty finder options, so there's got to be a bonus on those too. It's one of the 4 categories is the Guild Hests. So they're going to get some type of increase, even if their base isn't increased. You can get a bonus at least off of running 1 a day. Better than nothing.
So while on the topic of dungeons here, now each patch is going to have 2 hard modes that are going to be added and 1 new dungeon. So is this... We see how fast gamers and MMO players are able to burn through content. Is 2 hard modes and 1 dungeon enough?
I think it's a sweet spot for 4-man content. I think any less would be too little. Any more would be just tacking on unnecessary. I mean, what are they? The purpose of the dungeons is to gear up to get to the raid in the end. As long as you have enough options, I don't really see the need to go much far past that. You have so many patches to add so many dungeons. I can understand maybe wanting to explore more of the world quicker, but 3 dungeons seems to be a sweet spot for me, and I see other games, other MMOs do that too. It just seems to be a sweet spot.
I'm cool with it too. In fact, you know, the way they're doing hard modes actually makes me more cool with it, cooler with it, more coolness,
more cool
upon it.
More cooler.
To whom it may concern. I'm sorry. It's
English.
Medicine. It's maths.
Vern's not as good at English as I am with math.
Right. Well, that's why we complement each other well on After Dark. Watch that show. So yeah, I'm okay with it. The way they're doing hard modes too is because they're totally new dungeons for all intents and purposes. There's new stories to go in. There's new paths. There's new bosses. The hard modes aren't just go beat the same content that hits harder and has more hit points. So in essence, you're getting 3 new dungeons. And if they can stick to their 2.5 to 3 month plan, which admittedly patch 2.1 didn't stick to that because of the server problems they had when the game launched, but if they can stick to that going forward, I think that's a pretty nice sweet spot. That's basically a new dungeon a month when you look at it. So, and we're already going to be talking 2.2 content in mid-January. This drops December 17th. They're already planning to drop content details on us in mid-January for 2.2. So it sounds like we're going to hit a good clip here.
So you guys talked last week a little bit also about how hard modes are going to have their own story. And apparently the Ultimate Weapon hard mode is going to as well. So Mr. Happy, I got to ask, who the hell is the Wandering Minstrel?
Now, when you say Ultimate Hard Mode's going to have a story, I think it's more barely any because introducing him back into the story is not easy. Wandering Minstrel in 1.0, if you're a Legacy player, you know who he was. He gave you your Gubu mount. Anybody who's seen that Gubu mount running around? But he does all this talking about how he's destined to greatness and to help the adventurers of Eorzea become stronger so they can handle the coming calamity and all that stuff. And that's really what his purpose is. And in history, minstrels grossly over-exaggerate stories in order to make the heroes seem, well, more heroic. And that's really all this is. He can make the story more heroic. At least this is what I think. He's going to make the story more heroic and use it as a tool to train the adventurers to become more powerful and better, I guess is the way I think it's going to end up being implemented. Doesn't have some crazy huge backstory like I thought it might have, and I was hoping it would have. But it's that, as far as I'm concerned.
Can I ask you a question about the minstrel here? Do you think because there's definitely a clamoring for it. As soon as we started talking about this, I saw it in chat, and it's anywhere you read this in the forums, you see the comments. Do you think with the reintroduction of the minstrel, we're going to see the Gubu mount opened up to just everybody instead of just Legacy players?
I don't think the minstrel's going to be the way that it's introduced. I think the Beastman dailies one of the rewards, because I already know.
Yeah,
one
it was
of the
in the
quests.
video, right?
One of
it was
the
in the 10-minute trailer.
One of the quests gives you a temporary mount to do the quest with. I have a feeling that, as well as with the trade, we'll see those implemented as permanent mounts. I don't think it'll be the same as the Legacy Goobu, but in all honesty, it's a Goobu. Like, they're not.
Does it piss you off as a Legacy player that they do that? I kind of like when things are, you got your chance, tough nuggets. You know, I kind of like that, even when I miss out on that, because then there's something special about pulling that bad boy out. Mike Byrne, 2013.
There you go. Yeah, I knew that was going to get quoted. But I'm not upset about it. I mean, even if they made it look exactly the same, I'm not like a big. I don't know why, but for mounts don't really matter as much to me, being super unique, as much as the little minions or the gear does, or like holiday events for some reason. I mean, in the end, it's all vanity, but the mounts don't bother me as much for some reason.
Do you know that I have all the minions I can possibly get for the next 44 days? In 44 days, I'll have every minion available in the game, except the ones they freaking add in 2.1.
You even went
I've
as far
actually
as getting
changed
two of those
Grand
cactuars.
Yeah, I've actually changed grand companies and grinded the full rank so that I can get both of them.
You're not the only one who's done it.
Yeah.
I know a few people who have done it.
I love them.
God.
Love minions.
Burn. We need to put you into a help program
Hey,
for that.
Rehab for minions.
Yeah, minion rehab.
Don't
Whoa!
badmouth my minions.
Don't worry, maybe Mr. Byrne will get featured on the new Minion Spotlight that
Right?
Final Fantasy XIV announced like 45 minutes ago.
Make it happen. Make it happen, Square Enix. I love you all. I'll be in the video. I'll be like, I know
And
where
there's
the
a GIF of
bluebird
that now.
is. I know where the bluebird is, but I really don't.
And there's already a GIF of Mr. Byrne doing that.
All right, so also here, what's the deal with the Beastman dailies and treasure hunts? How are those going to work?
I wish I could tell you more. We'll know more in, 4 days? Maybe sooner. Maybe they'll give us maybe we'll get a little bit of something before then, but it just looks like dailies and treasure hunts. Actually, I have a theory on, because there's 5 grades of treasure hunts. There's 5 grades of gathering nodes, grades 1 through 5, respectively. And I have a feeling you'll get a map from one of them. It'll determine the difficulty, the level at which you can do it. And the grade 5 ones just require a small party of 4 people. They said some of the grade 5 ones would require a small party. Only reason I'm assuming that. I thought it would all be solo content at one point. But that's how I think it'll work. Gather the map. They get a few people. They go to the location on the map, and they have a motion they do, and the monster spawns. There you go. Treasure hunts.
All right, let's move on. But before I do, I want to tell you guys a sponsor that we just got. Brand new sponsor we're happy to have be a part of everything we're doing here at Gamebreaker. Thank you so much to GoDaddy for supporting this episode of XIV Reborn. If you guys don't know, we use GoDaddy literally for hosting every single one of the GameBreaker.tv sites. XIV, Hearth Nation, Free to Play, Gamebreaker, all of those sites are mained and purchased through GoDaddy. We've been using them for years, and I even used GoDaddy was my first website that I made. I don't have it anymore, but when I first made MikeShaftnet.com, actually no, I think I made RedleafPictures.com. I used GoDaddy when I was originally using it. So we have a special offer for you guys. If you guys are out there looking to build a website, if you head on over, you can save up to 50% off of hosting through using gamebreaker.tv/GoDaddy. Guys, it's the 21st century. If you don't have a website, you need to have a website. I'm telling you, if you're in the creative industry, if you are really for yourself, you just need to be able to centralize your information that you want to get out there on the internet. So many employers, so many people like to have centralized information. You guys out there are a part of guilds. Why not run your guild site through the service of GoDaddy instead of using any of the pre-made sites that are out there? GoDaddy is just a great, easy way to get started. And right now, like I said, you guys can get web hosting for as low as $1.99 a month. And that also includes a free domain with unlimited bandwidth. And it's really just never been cheaper, easier, or faster to get your personal or guild website up and running. So if you guys head over, be sure to go over to gamebreaker.tv/GoDaddy and it'll get you set up and running today. That's gamebreaker.tv/GoDaddy. All right, so is there anything else that you guys kind of found that was surprising in the interview that we haven't covered yet?
I'm trying to think. I think the Ultimate Extreme mode was the only thing that really surprised me, just because they were on the fence about it at one point, and then they said, hey, before 2.2 we'd like to do Ultimate Hard mode. Before 2.3 we'd like to do Ultimate Extreme, and I was like, yeah, okay. All right.
I wasn't surprised by anything additional in the interview. I was surprised by a dev post after the interview, like a day or two. It might have been today. I don't even remember off the top of my head. That talked about, and we're going to talk about it on XIV Waypoint later this week, so make sure you check that out. On the vote to kick feature, Happy and I were talking about this pre-show. Apparently, the vote to kick feature, as long as you've been in the instance for 5 minutes, you're eligible to be voted on to be kicked, including if you're in a cutscene or not. So midway through some of those dungeons and raids that have a bit more beefy cutscenes in it, there's already cutscene griefing going on and people getting all mad. But now, as long as they've been in the instance for 5 minutes, there's apparently no flag that says this person's in a cutscene, you can't vote to kick them. You can vote to kick somebody that's in a cutscene, and if there's enough people, it'll boot them. So I thought that was a bit weird. We'll have to see if the don't abuse it or we will punish you clause that Yoshi Piece talked about sticks on this one. It's surprising, though.
So now, if everything that we kind of talked about wasn't enough, patch 2.1 has just received its very own website. So first off, let's talk about this trailer that's smack dab at the top of the new trailer. It is a 10-minute trailer for patch 2.1. I'm going to try and just play a little bit about it. I don't want to get flagged here for purposes, but if you guys want to check out the full video, head on over to finalfantasyxiv.com.
Copyright of Square Enix.
Copyright of Square Enix. Well, I mean, did you guys like this video? 10 minutes is a long trailer. There's so much content to be found in this trailer.
Yup, but they hit the sweet spot, didn't they? I mean, every single feature is maybe 20 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds. So they didn't dwell on anything too long. They just hit you with feature after feature after feature. And then went ahead and, even though we've been talking about the patch for months now and all the content, and we've had a live letter that covered most of it, managed to squeak in a few surprises still. Just absolutely very well done. My favorite trailers to date.
So not only did this site actually launch, but it also kind of revealed some details on kind of its own that we didn't really previously know. So let's show off some of those here. Up first is the main...
That music, man.
Oh, is it? I don't even hear the music.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm going to have to mute it over here because that's the only way I can do it. So up first here, the main story, it kind of looks like all is not really well anymore. The storyline continues. Where are we headed? Where are we headed here? Garleans are kind of rising up again. What do you guys think?
Mr. Happy, you're the lore guy. This is all you, brother.
They left a lot on the table at the end of the main story, so I think we're really just tying up loose ends here, or starting to, because this is just, patch 2.1. We still have however long until the next expansion to finish this story, and if 1.0 did anything well, it did its story elements very, very well. So we can expect probably more betrayals, probably some new characters, probably some characters that we didn't know about that have been there have been there the whole time. I don't want to spoil anything too much. Granted, it's been 4 months. Most people have probably seen the story by now, unless you skipped it and we're planning to go back to it at some point.
Well, I mean, you're going to see the Asians again.
Oh, yeah.
You're probably going to see a very, very key figure. Not in this poster, sorry. Wrong poster, that's up.
Good job.
But you're probably... Shut your mouth. You're going to see probably a key figure come back. If you haven't beat Coil yet, then you may not know, but there's a couple things that go down there that are cool lore-wise. I see chat mentioning Ishgard. We're not going to get Ishgard. That's not going to happen until probably 3.0. That'll be the big expansion piece when Ishgard opens up. But looking forward to it.
Now, who the hell is Hildebrand?
Yeah, that's my boy.
What does his return mean? Mr. Happy, it's your boy. This is clearly a version 1.0 thing, so what's
Okay,
the deal?
hold on. Before you answer this question, everybody needs to know the day this website went live, within an hour and a half, there was a tweet that came out from one Mr. Happy that already proclaimed at FanFest he just might be dressed up as Hildebrand.
Who is Hildebrand?
Hildebrand is a guy from 1.0. He actually, all throughout 1.0, we didn't always have the private in-rooms we take for granted in 2.0. And he was actually part of the quests that opened them up. And he's a detective of sorts. And not a particularly good detective. He's like the guy who thinks, if I could think of a childhood cartoon, and I know there's one on the tip of my tongue, he's like the guy who thinks he solves everything, but there's a character on the side, which is you in most cases, as the adventurer, that actually solves everything for him, but he takes all the credit.
That is perfect, chat. Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget, that's the one. It's with Penny and the dog, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brain.
So Brain. I couldn't remember his name. So pretty much exactly that. Although what was interesting was that he was just part of the in-story quest, unlocking the in-room plus a few other quests regarding Dalamud and things like that. He was listed under main scenario quests on the 2.1 website. So I'm a little bit intrigued to see exactly where he actually fits, him and his shiny smiles and moose back hair, where it all fits in the main story now.
Yeah, and this dude hasn't been heard since he decided he was going to run under where Dalamud was crashing into the planet. So who knows what's going on with him, or I think they're teasing more, actually, his assistant. So that could be a bit odd, too. I don't know where they're going with this, but I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see you dressed like that at FanFest, man.
Oh, God.
Gotta grow that hair in, slick it back.
I'm Italian, so the moose back hair thing is like built into my genes. So I've got one aspect. I don't know how I'm doing the hair on the sides, but I might have to get a teeth whitening before then.
That's all right. I'll follow you around and go ting every time you smile.
It's all right. Thank you.
So we talked a little bit about how the Crystal Tower loot rules were coming into effect, but this site actually also showed off the 4 bosses that we can expect to see here. So what do you guys think of the lineup here? We have King Behemoth, Bone Dragon, Thanatos, and Archeron. Was there anyone else that you guys wanted to see make an appearance? I've got some images here. I'll pull up some images.
There was a lot of people I wanted to see make an appearance. I wanted the big baddie up first. Of course, obviously it was never going to happen, but I wanted to. I'm happy to see King Behemoth. Everybody else, while I do appreciate them sticking to the Final Fantasy III vibe, I would have liked to have seen somebody a little more important to lead this off. And I think, Mr. Happy, you kind of speculated on a video on why we might not actually be seeing any of the key baddies yet. That maybe this actually isn't the tower?
I think the Labyrinth of the Ancients, is the gate into the tower, but you're not on the first floor yet. The first floor you'll get to at the end of it, where you'll actually enter the Crystal Tower. That's what I'm thinking. I'm also thinking at some point in the Crystal Tower we'll be teleported to another dimension. But that's only because of some posts that we've seen from the developers as well regarding A1 Eureka, and also just knowing the Final Fantasy III lore itself. I knew that I didn't know what he was. I thought he was a more important boss, Acheron. I thought he was the Iron Giant, who was a super boss in Final Fantasy III, but he's just a common enemy.
Yep.
I would have liked to have seen somebody a little bit more. I would have liked to have seen Cerberus on the first floor. I really would have liked to have seen Cerberus as the final boss, and with that part of the raid where it splits into 3, I had my hopes up a little bit. But overall, I think this just means that later floors of the Crystal Tower will host more than one ultimate boss. Judging there, we have what we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I miss? Oh, 7. Am I missing one? I think 8
1,
actually.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 or 9.
Because Cerberus is 3 heads, so.
Yeah, I hope the fights are cool because I would have liked to have seen a different boss, but I think I can let that go if the fights are really cool and fun and engaging. So I'm gonna reserve judgment on this one. I was a little disappointed, but King Behemoth is kind of one that makes me smile. So I'll hold back until we fight them.
Here's the thing that I would say with this, though. I mean, and you guys aren't clamoring to have been fighting, Cloud of Darkness here, but I think that
right.
I'm not
I was.
saying,
That's what I wanted.
Well, but I'm
That's
not
what he
saying.
wanted.
I was like, just end it. 2.1, end it. Tower dead.
That's the problem, because the thing is, I'm not saying that Yoshi P and all of the other designers can't create new bosses for us, the fans, to go kill, but they have to be very careful with using the right bosses at the right time. If they threw Cloud of Darkness in right now and gone, like, could they ever really bring her back? They'll run, if they go at that speed, they'll run out of Final Fantasy baddies to tease you with, to go in and want to fight. Like, yes, Cloud of Darkness could easily come down the road, but that's a fight that gets implemented way down, like years. That's like, oh my god, that's a whole entire raid, and the final boss is going to be Cloud of Darkness. Oh my god.
Do you think so? I think we'll see that in 2.3.
No.
Or maybe, yeah, you're probably right. It's going to be post-expansion.
Not post-expansion. It'll be
I think it will be. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be post-expansion.
I mean, I don't even know if I could say as far as post-expansion, but I do think that it would not be a 4-boss scenario. It would be like Binding Coil. It would be or just, I see it so much more as such a draw. Like, let's say Final Fantasy VII is one of my more favorite, and the rest of the world's favorite Final Fantasy. If they brought in Sephiroth, if this whole thing was themed around Midgar and Final Fantasy VII, and they were just to drop down Sephiroth right at the end of this, like, then what would they do down the road? They're gonna run out eventually. Is kind of what I'm getting at. I think the pace that they're doing this is Emerald Weapon. Oh my god, no, Ruby Weapon. Ruby Weapon can just blow me.
Bring lightning in. Yeah, you could kill her.
There you go. Yeah, come on, DLC $3 per boss fight. There you go.
All right, so Mr. Happy, now in this video, in a video that you had, you kind of speculated that you just talked about this. We just asked you this. That's why notes are good. So anything new? Let's move on here. Anything new that we got from this website about housing? Do we know pricing or requirements at all yet?
Nope. They are wait until at the latest possible time they can tell us. It's like later. Yeah.
Well, how long do you think they can wait? Because in the interview, they did say that they were planning to drop patch notes a few days before the actual patch.
Saturday.
So how long do you think they can?
Saturday. No, because December 14th is Saturday.
Right. Right. So you think we'll see like a patch notes and a housing pricing reveal and everything either as part of the live letter or shortly after?
Part of the live letter.
Yeah.
There's really 3 days before it comes out. You seriously can't drop a price on it yet. Like, I can understand people like not wanting people to go crazy preparing for it, but people are already going crazy preparing for it. They might be over preparing.
And you're not. I don't think you're going to need just money, gang. If you haven't been watching it, you're going to need some free company rank too. I don't see them just dropping this in and letting everybody that's rank 5 go at it. I think you're going to need to rank up a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
Now going back over here to the website, there's actually 3 tabs that are still hidden. Trials, dungeons, and holy cow word, I'm not even going to pretend to
That's the barber shop.
Aesthetician. All 3 of these are actually inside this trailer, though. The trailer that I can't play for you guys. What do you think? Why do you think that these 3 tabs are grayed out, hidden, and not available? Are they just pages not ready, or there's some big things that they're planning to do behind these pages once they
I think there's information contained on the pages that just can't be made public yet. I would imagine that we've got some extra beauty barbershop options that maybe they don't want to tip yet. I don't think there's anything huge and earth-shattering behind them, but based on the fact that they already snuck in a few, hey, surprise, we never mentioned this, into the trailer and into the website now, I wouldn't be surprised if the 3 tabs have a little something extra that maybe hasn't been mentioned yet, and they're just not quite ready to reveal until probably after the live letter.
Now, we actually know a whole lot about these 3 topics, so again, I mean, it's a little curious as to why they're grayed out, but under the adventuring tab here, let's go back to the website. So under the adventuring tab, we actually get some info on the duty roulette feature, but again, you know, the beast tribes and the treasure hunts, these are all grayed out down here.
Yep, there's sub-tabs there underneath. You see the duty roulette right underneath the adventuring tab, but then there's sub-tabs that are also hidden there, too. So I think this website still has secrets to reveal.
Secrets.
7 days.
7 days.
We are almost there, though. We are getting so close. We've got 4 days until live letter 11 and 7 days until the patch itself. So everybody just hold it back. We're almost there. It's almost there. Awkward VGX clap because we have no studio audience.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gamers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Gamers
yeah.
live in their mother's basement. Nice job. If I could leave early, I would.
So, what are you guys excited about hitting first? It's patch day. We're a week from today. Patches hit. What is the first thing you're gonna go jump and do, Burn?
I'd like to say Crystal Tower, but that's actually going to be Wednesday is our typical raid night, so my group will knock out a little bit in Coil to grab some gear, and then we'll head on over to Crystal Tower. So Tuesday, patch day, I'm going to be checking out, I'm really interested in treasure hunts off the bat. I'm really interested to scope out the pricing in housing, and to be honest, I want to check out PvP, because I'm really curious to see if it's the train wreck a lot of us think it might be, or if they manage to pull something off here that's kind of neat. We'll see.
Mr. Abby, what about you?
Well, main story, I will tackle that immediately, because I have a feeling it's going to be the gate to the hard mode dungeons, Crystal Tower, Good King Moggle, and the extreme mode primals. I have a feeling it will have some sort of connection. Maybe not the extreme mode primals, but the other things, I have a feeling it will have a connection to. So I want to get that out of the way just to rule any of that out, so I know how to unlock all that stuff. After that, hard mode dungeons, Crystal Tower, extreme mode primals, Ultima Hard. I want to save Ultima Hard mode for last, even if he's not as hard as the extreme mode primals.
Now, is there at all, a world first race on the Crystal Tower, or is that kind of thrown out of the window with the whole random queue thing?
The thing is about a world first race is part of the point of it is that you're under geared for the content. And you have to compensate for it with specific strategies that aren't really the best way to do something if you're adequately geared. People who have been clearing Coil this whole time, they are well past needing gear from pretty much almost everything for their mains. So to really say there's a world first race, it would kind of be underwhelming. It's basically who logs in first and can just beat it first, which will probably happen in a few days, to be honest. So I don't really see there being any sort of real world. The closest thing is Ifrit Extreme, and even that, I don't think there's going to be a real race for. Not at all.
Not with a 70 item level check. There's way too many people to crush that just going in. It's just a race to learn the mechanics. There's no real compensation there.
All right, and before we move on, I want to tell you guys about another sponsor that we have here at Game Breaker that helps make these shows possible. But I don't know about you guys. It got mixed. The movie got mixed reviews last year, but I am really excited for The Hobbit this Friday. It's going to be. I think that Peter Jackson's always done a great job with the Lord of the Rings series, but I've got to say, the one thing that's going to suck the most is the fact that it's not going to end. Like, there's the third one. It's destined to come out. We know it's going to happen. We're not going to get the full story. They are going to leave you on a cliffhanger, and one of our sponsors has the solution for you guys. If you head on over to audible.com/gamebreaker. You can sign up for a free trial of audible.com. It's a great service that has hundreds of audiobooks to listen to, including, that's right, The Hobbit. So this Friday, when you guys go see The Desolation of Smaug and you come out and you're like, what's the end? I want to know the end. Well, here's how you get the end. You come on over to audible.com, you check out The Hobbit, you get a free trial, you can download a free audiobook, and you can just finish up the entire book. It'll be super easy to do, I promise. You can skip ahead. I won't tell anybody if you skip ahead towards the end of the audiobook to where the movie left off. But if you want the full experience, you can listen from the very beginning, and they will tell you, they will read the book for you and present it for you in kind of a way that, you know, is almost the same as going and watching a movie. I know it's not a visual medium, but it's a wonderful medium. You have the ability to listen to these audiobooks while you're working, while you're driving home, while you're playing video games. It's just a great way to stay up to date on books like this. And they have tons of other things. I know another one that they have available is The Hunger Games. They have Mockingjay, which is the third one after Catching Fire. So you can catch up and finish up, if you guys are a huge Hunger Games fan, you can finish up the Hunger Games series by listening to Mockingjay, or go back and watch them all, or listen to them all. It's a great service, guys. I highly recommend it. We are so happy to have Audible sponsoring our shows. And if you guys head over, like I said, to audible.com/gamebreaker, you can get signed up for a free 30-day trial, as well as get a free audiobook. So head on over, check it out, audible.com/gamebreaker. Now, I know that Gary kind of said that not going to mention PvP anymore on this show, but something good came out this week. And if you guys haven't already checked out the new patch 2.1 site, or maybe if you guys read Mike's write-up, Mike Byrne, so you're not confused because there's three of us. If you guys checked out Byrne's write-up on XIV Nation, you know, we skipped a tab. There's a tab on here that might be really kind of cool to talk about. And that's, you know what? Because Gary said we weren't going to speak about this feature anymore, but Byrne is basically coming out and saying that we have to, and Gary's not here. So, you know what? Here's a PvP tab right there. PvP.
Chefnet stages a coup.
I have the power!
Yes, you do, and I'm happy for it.
So to be totally fair, though, the tab is really boring. I mean, there's nothing. there's nothing on the tab.
Shut up, Byrne. I don't care. PvP tab.
There's nothing written there that's like new or exciting or awesome. But if you looked closely and paid attention, there is one image that's actually worth talking about for quite a few reasons.
Would it happen to be this image? This one right here?
It would happen to be that image. How did you know?
That would be the image.
So let's break this down. Where are we looking?
Well, we're looking right now at the main actions and traits menu that everybody has, but the PvP section is added, and it's got a ton of abilities, and a PvP abilities 10 out of 10 bar, and some other weird stuff. So I think we should kind of take this a step at a time.
All right. We'll break this down then. We're getting special abilities. Then we thought it was just a stun break. Then special abilities.
Right. That's what we thought. That was the rumor.
Yes.
Then just a stun break.
Then, yes, we were back to just a stun break. Last show or the show before when we talked about fresh meat and anonymous names.
Yes.
Now, we're getting special abilities again.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Flopping back and forth. All right, so what do we think 10 out of 10 means on this screenshot? Are we only going to be allowed 10 abilities in a PvP scenario?
No.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is going to be 10 of these abilities in addition to some normal abilities. Whether that's all of them or not, I mean, we'll get down to that a little later. But there's clearly a decision being made here, the way that everything lights up on that screen, and I think these are in addition to your current abilities tab.
On the screenshot here, 3 abilities have already been dragged out onto the hotbar with all of the other normal warrior abilities. So That would
Yeah,
kind of
if you scroll
confirm what
down
you're
to the
saying.
bottom of the shot, you can kind of see that. Where, there they are. Bar 2 has the 3 highlighted PvP abilities in the menu, and Bar 1 has the traditional warrior abilities as well. And it looks like you can use all the ones that are at least there. Now, are they going to limit some of the PvE abilities? I don't know, but I would assume that there's probably going to be some that are going to be a no-no for PvP.
I want to say something else about that screenshot, too. Even though he has 10 abilities equipped, only 3 are lit up. If you look at the other 7 that are not lit up, they are abilities that don't look like they would work on Warrior. So it looks like he has 10 equipped for any which sake, but there are some there that look like they could be used by maybe a monk or a paladin instead with a shield. So even though all of these abilities are shown, I think it's fair to say that each ability will have sort of a correlation to which jobs can use them. So this list is not to be confused for 30 abilities to choose from per job, I think.
Right. And 80 brings up a point that says they think the white symbols are points, and you get 10 points to choose with. The math doesn't work. If you take a look, I thought the same thing initially, too. If you look at the screenshot, and I may be jumping ahead a note or two here, Shaft, there's white diamonds underneath the abilities, either 2 or 3. And if you total up the diamonds from the 3 abilities they have selected, it doesn't equal 10. So I don't think...
But it says he's 10 out of 10.
But it says he's 10 out of 10, and you see that there are 10 abilities with dots next to them indicating that they were probably selected. There was a yellow dot on the left of each ability. So I don't think... I have no idea. Can you guys take a guess? I have no idea what those diamonds might mean, because it looks like
points.
You just picked one. Do you think?
I think that's the only thing I can come up with. I mean, first I thought maybe it could be how much morale they ignore, but then some of them are purely defensive, so that doesn't really make sense. I thought maybe these could bypass the damage reductions coming out of the gear stat morale, which is, like resilience. Most people would know that. But I can't think of anything other than combo points, and they're all either 2 or 3. Why are there no 1 diamonds there? Why there's no 4? We have so little information about that screenshot. It's all just speculation at this point. That's fine, pretty much. And company rank, maybe.
Yeah, and that's kind of the next point that we're going to talk about is some of the options that this could be, just not sure.
Well, and that's, as you guys are kind of getting into here, there's, actually, let me move it so you can see right there, right under the PvP tab header. It looks like there are 3 Grand Company logos. Are the abilities going to be determined maybe by the Grand Company that you're in?
Yeah, and maybe those diamonds indicate, like chat kind of speculated, maybe they indicate your current ranking with your Grand Company. Maybe you have to level up to certain points in the Grand Company to be able to equip them. I don't know. It's certainly interesting. We expected that Frontlines, which is coming later, would be Grand Company affiliated based on who you queue up with and who you fight with. You fight with your Grand Company. But I think it's interesting that the abilities have the Grand Company flags there. Are they Grand Company specific or what? Or maybe we're just being trolled. Maybe it's a fake screenshot and Yoshi P's just having some fun. I have no idea. But this is one of the big reasons why I want to jump in now. I want to see what they're doing, get the answers on this. I'm not a big PvP guy, but there's just so many questions I've got to know about it.
Yoshi P also had a little bit to say on the topic of PvP and kind of detailed that players would have 30 ranks to gain in PvP when it launches. So, prediction time. Let's take this to you guys. What do you think here? What rank does Burn get to before he throws his hands up in the air and quits PvP?
Come on! Rank 1?
Rank 2?
Get the hell out of here. Give me a little more credit.
You're gonna lose your first match and you're gonna leave. You're gonna be like, this is stupid. I hate PvP.
No. Here's the thing. He's gonna win his first match. It's gonna auto rank him up to rank 2 because that's how level 1 always works. You win 1 rank and you automatically rank up. This phone is causing way too many buzzing issues. You'll auto rank up to level 2, and then you'll lose your second game, and then you're like, nope, never playing this again.
Me and him have very similar predictions, it seems. He's just giving you the slack of winning.
I'm giving you that 1 win.
Even chat is like kind of agreeing with you. I'm getting mostly 1 through 5s with the occasional 13, giving me a little bit of credit.
A 0.5.
For
You
at
get
least sticking
downranked.
with it for a while. Yeah, 0.5. They're going to go into one match and lose and find a way to chalk up a negative number. Just for that, I am going to get 30. I don't know how long it'll take, but I'm going to freaking get it now, just so I can shove it in your faces.
So
I'll believe that when Gary hits level 50.
Dang! Punches being thrown. All right, so we assume that the ranking up will it'll get you PvP gear. But is there a place to kind of get a basic set since there's a PvP stat?
Yes, it can be crafted. They have already said they will be keeping crafters busy with housing and new PvP items. So we can at least assume there will be a crafted set that has a base amount of morale with the PvP stat on it. So crafters looking to make some new stuff, you have a few new markets to bust open into.
Yeah, because your food one's collapsing on itself. Sorry, guys. Food persists through death now.
Now, hang on here, because I just thought of something. A PvP set means that you just ate up that extra little bit of retainer that we're kind of going to get if you try and get PvP gear for multiple classes. Wait.
What a mess!
Here.
What?
Here. Armoire in 2.2. In 2.2, I'm not saying 2.1. In 2.2, there you go. And a new retainer. There you go. Spirit Bond. I'm turning it into materia. I don't know. Get some Earthborn materia, and you're all good.
It's like everybody was like, "We're getting a third retainer, badass, go square." Wait, we need multiple PvP sets. We're gonna play more than one class. The fuck.
The fuck, yeah. All right, let's do some viewer questions before we get out of here. So first up, Holiday Stevie asked, "What are you guys looking forward to the most in patch 2.1? Also, do you think that that Summoner will get buffed?" What are you guys looking forward to? I think we kind of talked about it. You each said what you're most excited about, what you're going to be doing first. But is there anything else that you guys are excited about?
I'm most excited about Crystal Tower. I love PvE content.
I thought you were going to say
can't
Christmas.
No, yeah, Christmas.
Well, close enough.
I want a Red Rider BB gun.
He wants his outfits. He wants his snowman outfit.
If I could leave early, I would. Joe McHale, 2013. I'm most excited about Crystal Tower. My group in GBN is the most fun, and looking forward to it. And we'll be doing that on day 2. So, big ups to
Happy,
GBN.
what about you?
I'm saving the best for last. My favorite piece of content, which is Ultima Hard Mode, just because it's Ultima Weapon. He's got a soft spot in my heart with all the other Final Fantasies I've played. Ultima Weapon, Ultima Weapon, Ultima Weapon. As for Summoner getting a buff, slightly. AoE
It's
buff.
not really a buff.
It's something they should have done. They shouldn't have done, or shouldn't have done in the first place. They have a spell that spreads their dots to all the nearby targets, but it's maxed out to 3 targets. They're either raising or lifting the amount of targets it can go to. So there you go. More AoE damage.
Next up, Cyberkitten Moonlove. I think that was the name her mother gave her. Cyberkitten Moonlove.
That sounds like a birth name to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Probably passed down from the grandmother.
27th astral moon of the whatever era.
Can we digress here just for a second? Mr. Happy, I got to tell you something, and the rest of the viewers may like this too. So we're in Coil, right? And we're doing our thing, and we down turn 1, and we get our loots, and we're trying turn 2, and whatever.
Amazing.
We're doing our thing, and if the tank dies on the ADS, it's pretty much just not worth trying. Just start the damn thing over. Yeah, you probably can come back, but it's unlikely. So we're playing this, and got a great group, bunch of fun. We have fun. GBN. Life. We have a bard, right? I mean, makes sense. Interrupt, right? No electricity. We don't want electricity.
Voltages.
Right, voltages. And then the tanks, 2 paladins, they get the second one, and it's back and forth, and we're going good, and things don't go well, and we got to call a wipe. Okay? It happens. Our group couldn't wipe. We couldn't wipe! The bard is awesome. So everybody's doing their thing, dying. Bard pops healing limit break 3 bars. We can't kill our group when we have to. That's how awesome of a raid group we are. We're taking on bosses, and we can't kill ourselves when we try. Viper, I love you. It's just a great story.
I have a really funny clip to upload later to YouTube that is exactly what you just said, but not on ADS.
We were like, really? We can't even wipe the group? What the hell is going on here? So yeah, it's fun.
And then you died to animation lock.
Right.
So, Cyber Kitten Moonlove. I'm sure you guys know who that is. Joe McHale, 2013. Wanted to know. You guys know who he is, right? Twitter. Everybody knows who this guy is on Twitter. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm really trying to make fun of Joel McHale here. Cyber Kitten. I apologize. Do you think that we will ever see loot lockouts per job instead of per character?
No.
Not a
nope.
chance.
And Yoshi P's kind of alluded to not that specific scenario, but they've talked about not letting the tombstones be per class. They've talked about keeping those per character. They've talked about not being able to respec your attribute points, specifically with the summoner and the scholar. They don't want you respecking them like every time you want to switch and go back into coil as another class. So I don't think we're going to see that. It just stays in line with everything they've put in place that we don't do that.
Next up, Synosis Kent wants to speculate. Do you think we will see new classes added in a patch, or is it an expansion-only thing?
Now, I see this question a lot.
Like every week.
Pretty much every day I see this question. And I'm just going to say no. Now, the reason why this question gets asked a lot is because at one point, Yoshi P alluded to, it would be nice if we could add a new class before the expansion. He said it, and it has just become something that they could possibly do. I'm going to say we're not seeing it till an expansion. I mean, when you raise a level cap, is the best time to introduce a new class because it allows you to balance the game with the new class in mind. I simply don't see it happening.
Vern, what about you? Agree?
Everything Mr. Happy just said. Ditto.
Saint Nick Baker asks another good question 2 weeks in a row. How many patches do you think that we will see before an expansion for Final Fantasy XIV?
I got this question on my live stream before. And I don't know, I don't think it was the same person, but Mr. Brain, you seem to really want to say something.
I thought you were blowing an invisible trumpet.
I think we go to 2.5. I think we go to 2.5, and then we see 3.0.
Now,
right.
I like that, because that's about where I put mine. We're off by one number. I thought 2.6, and here was why. They've showed they've showed a lot of interest in 2 hard mode dungeons, 1 brand new dungeon. Now, considering Castrum and Praetorium are not in the 14 dungeons that are part of that leveling up sort of scenario in the Duty Roulette, and then you have Amdapor, Keep, and Wander's Palace, which are already level 50, that gives us 12 dungeons to work with. 12 dungeons that aren't level 50 that could have a level 50 version of them made. That gives us 6 patches at 2 dungeons each, because I'd imagine they wouldn't want to wait till an expansion to dive into those first. When people are going to brand new continents and new zones, they're not going to try and bring people back to the old ones. They want people in the new ones. So 2.6 makes perfect sense to me, and at a 3-month rate, excluding 2.1, which took 4 months, that puts us at about 21 months total since the game launches before an expansion.
Yeah, and I kind of use the same math, too, because Yoshi P has dropped tips or hints on when roughly they would be looking at an expansion. In fact, it was like, a month ago that they said final storylines were being reviewed for the potential expansion. So that puts it at about the 18 to 22-month mark. I'm going to say 2.5, though, because that gives both Coil and Crystal Tower 3 total runs. You get Coil with 2.0, Crystal Tower in 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5. It puts both of them at 3 and is a nice place to cap off those bosses, I think.
Now let me ask you something. Do you not feel that it would be odd if 2.0 ended on a regressed content, with Crystal Tower being easier than Coil, without making Coil the penultimate boss?
I don't think we see Crystal Tower as regressed as Crystal Tower 2.1 is at that point. I think we start to see some things even out across the board. I still think Coil will ultimately be the hardest content going into the expansion, but I don't think it's going to be Crystal Tower is almost 20 points below Coil, like we see now. And again, it's just a guess anyway, so I could be completely freaking wrong. Huh.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in 2 years.
Right. We'll talk about it in 2 years when Burn's wrong and we can prove him wrong. Mike Byrne, you can follow him right down there at Magic with a K, man with 2 N's and a 1. Be sure to catch him right here on XIV Reborn and all over XIV Nation, free-to-play.tv, gamebreaker.tv. Catch him each and every week, as well as catch him in an hour on After Dark, because we do that show too, where you guys can call in and talk about stuff. Anything you guys desire. Cactuar. And Mr. Happy, you can follow him right down there at Mr. Happy 1227. Was Leet taken? Was 1337 taken?
It's my birthday, Shafnet. 12/27.
Oh, all right. Well, I was.
You're not the first person to ask me that, though, so I don't blame you.
I'm sorry.
And in Gary's memory of predictions that he missed, Saturday.
Be sure to check out Mr. Happy's YouTube channel and get your fix of XIV Reborn. XIV all day long over on it's youtube.com/Mr. Happy, correct?
Yes. Well, it's different, but just type in Mr. Happy, you'll find it.
All right. Be sure to go over and check that out. And you guys can follow me at Mike Shafted. Be sure to catch XIV Reborn each and every, Tuesday at 4 p.m. PST. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Be sure to check out gamebreaker.tv for all of your MMO-related needs. We will see you guys next week. Gary will be back. And now that I said that...
It's okay. We like you.
Okay, anytime that I say he'll be back, he's never back. And then I have to do the show again. So
it's okay. You can get the intro right next week. Got him.